This episode, we have the very funny Donna Lee. I thoroughly enjoyed this podcast, man. She's really good friends with Andrew. She reached out, so we got her on, and it was just incredible. Little short, she had a show at the end of the night that she had to get to downtown, so we were just getting into the good stuff too, man. We had just started talking about sticking things up your urethra, man. But nonetheless, we have the very funny Donna Lee. She was on Kill Tony episodes 722 and 738, so you can go back and watch those. She's touring all around, so you can check out her website, donnaleecomedy.com. Yeah, I mean, she's headlining. She on the way to the podcast. She had just gotten word on locking in a 200-seat venue. So she's really doing the damn thing. So it's super cool to sit down with her, to hear about her story, to hear everything stand-up comedy-wise and sticking things up your urethra. So nonetheless, y'all, I hope you enjoy the podcast. As always, I don't have my shirt with me. But as always, shirts are for sale. If you don't know what they look like, they're on my on the podcast Instagram page at What's Up Brodey Podcast on Instagram. You can see those there. If you want one, hit me up. Let me know. They're $25 and I can get one out to you. Awesome. Hope y'all enjoy this episode. Thank you. Before we get going, we got to clap. Mm-hmm. Ready? We're going to clap together. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Donna! Let's go.
Oh, that was fun. Fun intro.
Thanks. I'm so excited for this one.
Oh, me too. Thank you.
Thanks for reaching out. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, I saw you're friends with Andrew Quintanilla, and as am I. So it was like, whoever's his friend, it's got to be my friend.
Andrew's awesome.
He's great. He's sweetest guy.
Yeah.
He calls me his comedy mom.
Yeah.
He's so sweet.
He's incredible. He's so sweet. He's working hard. He's getting better and better, which is so much fun to watch.
It is. Yeah.
I was telling my buddy yesterday that I really love stand-up. Like I think the art is really cool because I saw Whitney Cummings Wednesday night and a Thursday night. And I saw her on Wednesday and she did her set. Killed. Just absolutely murdered. And then I came back on Thursday and it was still really funny, but it was slightly less funny.
Same set?
Well, that was the thing. She took the first half of her set and put it in the back half, and she took the back half of her set and put it in the front half. So she was clearly playing with it and seeing what worked. And it was fascinating to me. All the exact same jokes, just she took half and put it in front and the other half in the back. And it wasn't as funny as the other one. She still killed, absolutely murdered. But Wednesday night, I almost died laughing. Like I almost died from laughing. And Thursday, still having a really good time. But I was like, wow, that's really fascinating. And I would go, when I was single, I would just go to the mothership by myself all the time.
Yeah.
And anytime there was tickets, and you would watch people week after week or even some days like back to back, and you would see them just change a word on a bit, just an individual word, or just add just a slight little bit to it. Or you would see someone start from a very, very broad bit and watch it to, get to where it is at the end and tighten it up. Yeah. And it was just so cool to watch.
Yeah, the process is a lot of fun to watch, especially when you're watching a good comedian and following him or her on a regular basis like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. The coolest thing I've ever seen visually with a comedian is there's a special, I forgot what it's called. It's a Chris Rock special. And he's in like 2 or 3 different countries. And he's doing the exact same set, his 90-minute set. But he's walking up and down the stage, but he's in his different outfits in the different countries. But it's literally it's seamless.
Just frame by frame.
Yeah, frame by frame, different outfits telling the same jokes and the exact same phrasing for each joke. And it's brilliant. Like, I'm like, wow, that's the first time I was watching comedy thinking it's so planned, because most people go to a comedy show and think we're just riffing on stage. Yeah. But no, we've worked on these bits and tried to fine tune them. And that must have taken him years to get to that point.
Yeah. And people also think
Kill the Messenger?
I'm sorry?
Was it Kill the Messenger?
Maybe, I forget.
It says that he did that with Johannesburg, South Africa, London, England, and New York City, where it was 5 different performances mashed together.
It must have been that. Yeah.
I
so
think
impressive.
It is. I think a lot of people think that you're either funny or not funny. And so it's interesting, especially, I think Joe Rogan's a good testament to it, is that not everybody is just funny. If you work really hard at it and take a long time, you can get good at it and you can then be funny. But I think a lot of people think you're either funny or you're not funny. And I think actually going to open mics and going to regular club shows, you really start to see the actual art behind it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's so much fun and rewarding to make people laugh that hard and work on these bits. But my husband teases me because I'll tell my same jokes, but I'm like, well, this audience is totally different from the last one, so why would I tell all new jokes?
Yeah.
I know what I want to tell. He's like, well, when are you going to have a whole new set? I'm like, in 5 years? I don't.
Yeah.
Let me work on this one. Like, we all work on what we have for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how long do you think it takes to get a full hour, like polished, ready to go?
For most people, most comedians, years.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. It took me a long time. When I did comedy the first time in 2006, and then I did comedy for 5 years as an opener, a host. And it took me that 5 years to get a really good 25 to 30 minutes because I was super part-time too. But it just depends on the person. But I think a usual comic, it would take many years to really have a solid, 45 minutes to an hour down.
Yeah.
I've been blessed, though, coming back. I took 12 years off to focus on family and work and stuff. But coming back, I've been blessed that I can use my old material that I had way back when. And I've been adding all this new material. And I've been working on it, in my head. I've been working on it and writing through all these years, but I hadn't been on stage. But I've been really fortunate and working really hard. I call myself the hardest working person in comedy. Yeah. I'm working 24/7. But I'm a headliner, so I have that time now, and I'm just really excited that I can go out there. And I just got confirmation just on the way here that I'm headlining a 200-seat venue in February in Waco. Yeah, with my friend Megan King. We're co-headlining together, but we'll do 35, 40 minutes each, and I'm just living the dream.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I first heard about you actually on Kill Tony before I even knew you knew Andrew or anything. So I saw you both times because we watch Kill Tony every Monday. We absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's just such a fun show.
It's so fun.
We play a game where we'll go back and watch old episodes and we'll be like, pick an episode between, I think YouTube starts at like 175 and then to 760, whatever they're at now. And so we'll go back and just pick random numbers. And it is really cool to see when someone just doesn't really change. Tony's been the same. He's been talking the same kind of shit, the same amount of shit. He's acted the same. The intro's been the same. The theme song's been the same. Everything's been really, really similar. And then there's just been certain things. Like it used to be only bucket pools.
Okay.
And so now he's added like regulars in between to kind of break things up and I think, make it more entertaining overall. He was actually just on Joe Rogan with John Cena talking about...
I was just about to ask you if you saw that one.
Yeah.
I watched that whole thing.
I love it.
I loved it. It takes me a long time because of my ADHD to watch a whole Kill Tony or listen to a whole Joe Rogan. But over time, I'll eventually get there. But I was fascinated with Tony Hinchcliffe's knowledge and fascination of WWE. And that Joe Rogan was saying the show wouldn't have been, Kill Tony wouldn't be what it is had you not had this incredible lust and love for WWE. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, when he talks about when Shane is talking shit, he's doing his Trump impression, he's talking shit about Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan comes out and the theme music goes on and Joe's standing right behind him.
Yeah.
And just things like that, that's very WWE.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's really cool going back and watching the old stuff and seeing, the production is ass. And so it's like, makes you feel better about where you start at. And then B, it's like, he's just been the exact same. He's just started making more money.
Yeah.
And I think that's the coolest thing about the time that we live in is that there are people who are just normal, who can stay normal and make an absorbent amount of money. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And they're sincere and you can tell that they are who they are. They're not, it's not a different persona.
Yeah.
Which I think the audience can tell really easily. So good for them. I'm so impressed with them. When I got back into comedy, I didn't know what Kill Tony was. I was just a mom working my butt off and trying to handle my son and stepsons and my husband and all the wiener dogs and everything. And then a friend of mine at work was like, well, you're getting back into comedy. You should get on Kill Tony. And I was like, what's Kill Tony? I want to do that. And then I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this? And so, yeah, now I'm a huge fan, obviously, and having gotten on twice and not bombing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you how you heard about it. So what got you in the comedy initially though?
Initially, I was gosh, we talked about your beautiful baby before we started. When I had a baby, I went through a terrible postpartum depression. And I was the happiest pregnant person in the world, so I didn't anticipate postpartum depression. Coincidentally, though, I was a drug rep. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I sold a medication called Celexa, which is for depression. But I didn't recognize it in myself. So I got to a very, very dark place where I wasn't sure if I was going to get out of it. And I thought, I just have to raise this baby somehow. And so then I went to my doctor and I said, something's wrong. And he's like, oh, you're clearly depressed. Let's put you on Celexa. The medicine I sold, you would have thought that I would. Duh. So I went on my medication, short-term, antidepressant. I came out of it. And when I came out of that depression, I thought, I'm going to do everything in this lifetime that I want to do. And my number one thing to do since I was in the 5th grade was to be a stand-up comedian. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to write funny. I wanted to make people laugh. And in the 5th grade, my best friend at the time, Mary Margaret Schrader, she told me on the playground by the slides, oh, you're so funny. You should be a comedian. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what that is, but that's what I want to be. And fast forward about 6 months ago, I did a comedy show at the Tulsa Looney Bin. The Looney Bin in Arkansas and Little Rock. And she lives close to that location, Mary Margaret. So I reached out to her and I was like, this is super random, but I'm going to be at the Looney Bin right near your hometown. Can you come to the show? And then I told that whole story on stage with her in the audience. So I got to tell my Mary Margaret Schrader story in front of Mary Margaret. It was just so cool. And everybody started clapping and she stood up and waved. And I was like, that's when I knew I wanted to be a comedian, because of this little girl telling me I should be funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Full
then
circle.
fast forward. Yeah. I didn't think I could do it. And then in 2006, I was watching Nick Nite, which is a show on Nickelodeon, which I don't even know if that's around anymore. But it was asking for funny moms to try out to be on Search for the Funniest Mom in America. And I had literally just started comedy. So I'd been on stage 3 or 4 or 5 times doing open mic nights at Cap City Comedy. And I had a friend go with me, and she would record with the camcorder that you'd have to hold and everything. It was crazy. We had a phone like that back then. And I had to physically get a tape done, and I would send the tape to Nickelodeon. And then I got a call, and I made it to the semifinals and then to the finals. So that's why I get to use that credit all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I had no idea what I was doing, and I got kicked off at about the 3rd week after hundreds and hundreds of moms applied and comedians. And so I made it to the top 10. So about week 3, I get kicked off. So I tell everybody I'm the 7th funniest mom in America. I made that up.
I love it. I love it. Did you always know that? So you took a large break. You said 12 years. Mm-hmm. Did you always know that you were going to make your way back to it? Or did you just kind of think that, oh man, that's it?
Yeah, I thought, who's going to want to watch some lady in her 50s talk about her family and her crazy Asian mom and her, before I was talking about my son when he was little and making such inappropriate jokes, and now I would be totally canceled. Like this one joke that would kill on stage every time I said it. I would ask the person in the front, do you have any grandchildren or babies? And it's always somebody with a little girl. And I'd say, my child's cuter than yours. My child is more beautiful than yours. And I would go on. And I would twirl around the stage and say, my kid says, I'm a fairy princess, mommy. I'm a fairy princess. And then I'd take this big pause and go, you're a boy. And the audience would die laughing. But you can't do that now. I just thought about it the other day. I was like, you can't tell that joke now.
You just did.
First of all, it's not even funny anymore. But second of all, somebody would be mad at me. So I was like, well, times have changed.
I don't know. I think it's still funny. I think it's more relevant now than it probably was then.
Maybe so. And then when my son got a little older and he and his friends figured out how to find things online when he was, 10 or so, he found that clip. And he called me from school. So he must have been 12. He had a phone. And Mom, take that video down. He was freaking out. And that was the moment, though, that I decided I will absolutely be a clean comedian, because I never want my son to find anything that upsets him, offends him, makes him cringe, totally freaking out. So that's why I'm a clean comedian. I'm cleanish. I mean, if you've seen my late night show, sometimes I'll break out something a little bit dirty, but I'll never drop an F word or a C word and all that stuff. I just don't want it to be out there. And then even though my son's an adult, I just, maybe grandkids, I don't want them to go, oh my God, my grandmother was a dirty whore. We don't want that. But
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, yeah, I get that.
And it's easier to get hired. Corporate gigs are easier.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of money is. I'm part of a management group called a Metropolis Management Agency, and they only book college bookings for me. So I have to be clean, so I can dirty it up if I have to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so you take a break. Mm-hmm. You've come back. Someone's like, hey, you should do Cool Tony. How many times did you go to sign up before you actually got pulled?
You know, I don't know. Do you know Ernest Evans Sr.? He and I became besties when I got into comedy because we met through a mutual headliner friend, Kat C. And we were on a show together, and we just hit it off because we're kind of about the same age-ish. I'm older than he is. But he was like, hey, why don't you come down and try out for Kill Tony with me and all our friends? And he introduced me to all these other comedians. So I tried out last year at this time at the Cedar Park Center, the HEB Cedar Park Center, New Year's Eve.
Oh, we were there.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. I signed up with him and a bunch of other comedians, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. That was the first time I'd seen Kill Tony.
Okay.
Like I'd never watched it yet.
Yep.
And I was blown away and fell in love with the experience. Now, granted, it was on a bigger scale, and there was pyrotechnics, and Andrew Dice Clay came out. Yeah. But I fell in love, and we got to sit near the stage. All the comedians were up to the right of the stage, and it was just, I was like, is this what you people do? Like back in the day, I was just going to Cap City doing open mic nights.
Yeah, right.
Like now we're watching Andrew Dice Clay, and there's fireworks, and there's music, and so I fell in love with the show then. And then I tried out, I think, 2 or 3 more times. But the fourth time is when I made it on the first time. And I had manifested that. I'm a big manifester.
Yeah, how so?
I visualized it. I thought about it. I saw it. I felt it. Like I did all the steps you're supposed to do to manifest what you want. And I knew I was going to get pulled that night, and I did. And the second time, same thing. I knew all day long. I was like, I'm going to get pulled tonight. I know it. And I kept visualizing it and seeing it and feeling the feelings of having done it. And I was just so excited and happy. And when they called my name that second time, I just knew. Like I looked at Ernest and my friend Kimberly, and I was like, well, I knew that was going to happen. And I did the same thing I did the first time. I pointed to Ernest. I said, you call my husband. And I pointed to Kimberly. I said, hold my purse. And they take you through Shakespeare's, and then you go to the back, and it's the most exhilarating. And I thought the second time I wouldn't be as nervous. I was absolutely as nervous as the first time.
That's what I was going to ask.
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought for sure, second time. I'm a veteran. Oh no, I shat myself. It was horrifying. I was just scared.
What do you think? Where do you think, like, is it more nerve-wracking than other shows that you do? Like,
oh, for sure.
What do you think that is?
Coming out to the audience and knowing that I'm different than a lot of the comedians in that I'm older, female, clean. I'm not going to have a shock value. I wasn't going to go on Kill Tony and drop a bunch of F-bombs and try to fit in and be, a little more mainstream for that particular genre. But so that's terrifying. So I come out to this audience, and the first time I did Kill Tony, my first joke bombed hard. Like there was not one person laughing, and it was one of my favorite jokes. But I had rewritten it, and I didn't practice it enough because I had to get it down to 60 seconds. But Tony saved me by talking about my boobs. Thank God. I was never so happy to be mortified in my life. I was like, yes, please, let's talk about anybody you want to. Let's get it past that first joke that went so badly. And all I could think about was my husband and my son. I was like, oh dear Lord, I'm on this. 2 million people are watching this week, and they're talking about my breasts. That's not what I planned. And they wouldn't stop talking about it. and then they asked me if I'd been stuck in a dryer or something, and I didn't know what that meant. So I'm standing on this stage of
who asked you that?
Tony. Yeah, he said, so have you ever been stuck? And he starts laughing in a dryer. And I literally, if you watch it again ever, I actually go, probably. Like, I don't know what he's saying. I have no clue. It was so funny. And I said probably 3 times.
Step bro.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out standing on stage going, how do I get through this? What's he saying? And then I went down the rabbit hole the very next day. Yeah. I saw the friend of mine who told me about it. He goes, dude. No, this was 2 weeks later when it aired. And then I saw that friend the next day at work. And he goes, dude, you totally didn't know what he was talking about going down, just being stuck in a dryer or washer. And I was like, I still don't know. And then I went down the rabbit hole, which I wish I hadn't. But they were so great to me. And then they said, they let me talk about Search for the Funniest Mom in America. Mm-hmm. And I knew Leanne Morgan. I'd opened for her 3 times before. And it was such an easy, fun conversation. And then Red Band, I've watched this, it's on my social media, obviously, but I've watched it a million times because Tony looked at Red Band when Red Band started saying, well, do you remember the joke that got you on the show? And then Tony starts like nodding like, yeah. Like, I don't know if it was a good question or we're totally going to screw her up right now because she's not going to remember. Like, I'm hoping it was the first one. So I was like, yeah, I do remember that. And it's one of my best jokes. It's about my mom's donkey. It's a silly joke that I always end the show with. And I did that, and I won the audience over. And then I got the big book, and then I got the secret show invitation.
I love it.
Yeah, and I acted authentically. I threw my hands in the air and started screaming. And I don't think people do that very often on the show because everybody's kind of cool. And they're in
Yeah,
their
trying
20s.
to play it off.
Yeah, this is my second round. I am not too proud to be a dork.
Yeah.
I was so excited, and it was just the best feeling I've had. I mean, aside from having a child and marrying my husband. I was just so proud of myself that I did that, and I didn't, change myself. I didn't cuss. I didn't say dirty jokes. I did my joke.
Yeah, you did it. You did it your way.
I did it my way, and it was, it was awesome. And so when I got on the second time, the joke went much better. Thank God. And then I had another. What I was thinking too is I wasn't being cocky, but I thought, gee, I hope I get the secret show invitation again, and I did, but I was thinking in my head before the show, I have a show that I booked for that Thursday, and that's when the secret show is, that same Thursday of the week.
You'd have to tell them no.
Yeah, and I wasn't about to, but I'm thinking I am not ever going to piss off a producer, and I'm, in a phase of my career where I'm trying to build up, and I remember standing on stage, and I thought, God, I hope I get the secret show invitation, and then I thought, oh shoot, what am I going to do if I get the secret show invitation? And so then Red Band said, hey, you want to be on the secret show again? And I was like, oh my gosh. And you could see my face because normally I would have been like, yes. And I went, yeah. And I'm just lost in thought, like, what do I do? And it wasn't a huge show that I was on, but I just don't want to upset anybody.
Sure.
So I come off the stage and the producer is super sweet. And he said, all right, well, we're going to reach out to you for the secret show Thursday. And I said, how does that work exactly? I said, I have a show, but I bet they'll put me up first at that show or last. But I don't know how to figure out where I'd land on the secret show, but I'll do whatever you tell me. And he goes, oh, you have another show? That's no big deal. That's cool. And I was like, okay, but no, really, I can start the show off over there. I think it's Central Austin, and then just run downtown as fast as I can. Red Band was so cool. He reached out to me a couple days later on Instagram and said, hey, I heard you have another show. Do you just want to do the next week or the week after that on the secret show? I was like, that is so sweet of you. Thank you. I would love that. So I did the secret show the following week, and it was great.
Dude, they're so cool.
They're so nice.
They all have to be. Like, we talk about it ad nauseum, but it's just like, I don't get how so many people talk so much shit
they're
about
jealous.
all those guys.
Yeah. Especially the big comedians. But I've had friends who don't live here, and they're like, the Austin comics. Well, it's a fun situation. And I've told everybody, too, if you're a comedian and you're one of the 300 waiting in Shakespeare, this is what I didn't expect. Because I did the first time I did Kill Tony, the sign up, like I said, at the Cedar Park Center. So there wasn't, we didn't sit around together. We sat at the show.
You were in the bleachers.
Yeah, we were in the bleachers during the show. Yeah. Live. And that was so amazing, and I didn't expect that. What happens every Monday is that you're in Shakespeare's and you're waiting for hours. You have to sign up between 6 and 7. The show starts at 8. Tony doesn't end the show till whenever he wants, 11, 11:30, midnight, whatever. So you're there for, 6 hours max. And the environment is so engaging. Like, all of the comedians are so cool. I mean, you have your things that, if I can see this guy doesn't like that guy or whatever it is, but, minimal. But for the most part, everybody is so encouraging. So when somebody gets pulled, when the name gets called, everybody starts yelling and screaming, yes! And they're high-fiving, and they're grabbing the person who got called, and they're hugging that person, and you got this. And even if you don't know this person, I'm screaming things. I don't know this person. I'm like, you got this! It's just really engaging and very positive, and that just really warms my heart that so many people would go down there and be that, because you think it's really competitive and everybody's going to be all standoffish and weird. It's like a big fat party. Yeah. Everybody's so cool and fun. So that's been really, really enlightening for me to be in that group.
Where'd you do comedy the first time in 2006? Was it here?
Yeah, mostly Cap City Comedy, and then I started branching out and then doing like Houston Improv, a couple of things in Dallas, but staying pretty local because I was only doing comedy when I didn't have my son every weekend after I'd gone through a divorce. So I would do, really part-time. And I'm very proud though that I can say I was an incredibly good host. That's hard. Yeah. It's hard to be a host. I think people think, oh, that's the person who has the least amount of time and they just have to come in and out and introduce comedians. You have to have a super tight 10 minutes because you've got to start things off. Yep. You have to, if you're a good host, you memorize everybody's names. You don't have your piece of paper or your phone. You memorize their names. You memorize their credits. So you're not looking like somebody who doesn't know. And you research. You research your headliners. And you know everything you can about those headliners. So that's hard because I have a lot of ADHD and I can't focus. And I swear I have some dyslexia because I have a tough time writing and reading. So for me to be able to do that, I was really, really proud of myself. Because in my opinion, that's the hardest job in a comedy show.
I could imagine. I could see how that happens. I mean, that makes sense. I never even thought about it like that. We're a huge UFC household, so we watch a ton of UFC. And one thing that Bruce Buffer does that's super fascinating is he color codes all of his talking points. He'll put squares around certain syllables. Because, I mean, dude, you got guys from Russia, you got guys from Dagestan, you got guys from Mongolia with these crazy-ass names, and he has to say them perfectly. And he's in his 70s.
Wow.
And
that's what's going to keep him young.
He's just, here we go. So he
wow.
color codes his entire card. Nice. There we go.
Look at that. That's fascinating. Good for him.
And so that's his process, and that's how he does it. And he just, you can see Jorge, his name is spelt wrong on the card, but that's how it's pronounced. And so you can see how he breaks everything down, make sure he says these folks' names right. Because, same thing like you're saying, like, this is people are looking to you when you're doing that show to kick it off, not like you said, with a tight 10 minutes, but then you're introducing these folks and you don't want to say their name wrong. You don't want to miss a major credential or misquote a credential or something like that. So I could definitely see how that
makes sense.
How that would be super stressful. And when you were doing it in 2006, was it the same kind of supportive nature? Like
It was just totally different. We had the group that I went to Cap City with a lot. I signed up for a class after I did the Nick Nite show, The Search for the Funniest Woman in America. Somebody suggested you should do a comedy class, a course. And so I did that. So I made a bunch of really cool friends and we were all together a lot. I don't remember it being super competitive, but I do remember there not being social media.
Yeah.
And the headliners that came through all the time, they weren't as stressed about filling seats because it was just, you're going to the comedy club or you're not. Like, hey, let's go to Cap City on Friday or Saturday and see so-and-so. Now, as a headliner, I'm responsible for filling seats because I'm not a big name yet. So people don't know who I am. And I have to do all my Facebook marketing campaigns, all the events. Everything falls on me as a headliner. And that is a stress I never knew I was going to take on.
Yeah.
I don't regret it. I love it. But at the same time, I self-teach, everything. And I've taken courses and I've signed up for groups and just trying to learn more. And then I've met some really amazing headliners who know what they're doing. And they've sent me pointers or told me you should do this or how are you doing that? Like it was a huge learning curve because now with social media, influencers they'll go to all these clubs and sell out. And I've heard from lots of bookers and comedy club owners. Sometimes they're really funny people.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And then they're booking out a year in advance and they're selling out their shows. And sometimes 20 people remember to show up because they booked it out so far. And that's what we're competing with. I'm competing with a ton of, influencers and.
What up, y'all? I know I'm interrupting the conversation. I apologize, but I do need to quickly talk to you about Redmond Real Salt. I've been using this salt for a couple of years. I cook with this every single day. It is my absolute favorite salt in the entire world. And you now, as a What's Up Brodey listener, you can get 15% off by using the code Brodey, or on my Instagram in the bio, you can follow that link to checkout. You'll get 15% off as well. Now, back to the conversation.
Monster headliners. And when I get a gig though, I'm so appreciative. I cry almost every day out of gratitude.
Aww.
Like just coming up here when I got news that we locked in the 200 seat venue, I was like, what life am I living? This is just, I'm living my dream life. I've always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And for those 12 years, I was depressed and I couldn't watch comedy. I couldn't watch stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. I was so angry at myself for stopping doing it at all that I just couldn't allow myself to enjoy it. And now that I'm in it, I'm meeting amazing people and watching tons of comedy. And it's just been amazing and so much fun.
That's incredible.
So much fun.
That's incredible. Like it's just the thing that we talk about all the time. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can start doing the thing that you want to do, even if it's just as a hobby. There's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And B, take the time for yourself and just do the things that you enjoy. Especially, all these just so many people. A, they don't have any friends. B, they go to jobs that they dislike and then they just come home and rot on the couch and watch TV because they feel like they're too exhausted to do anything else. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, dude, you're missing out still on life. Even if you're obsessed with stand-up, just go do open mics. Even if nothing ever comes of it, you're going to have so much fun. You're going to meet friends. You're going to, and there's just so much that comes from that, comes from community. It's very similar in like the jiu-jitsu world, especially here in Austin. Like everybody, people say not everywhere is like this, where it's not frowned upon to like cross train, where we can, you can be affiliated with your gym, but if you want to go train with other people, or if you have buddies at other gyms, like it's not frowned upon here. Whereas that wasn't always the case. Like it used to be very tribal, and it's like, oh no, if you go to a different gym, like I went to a gym that wasn't very fond of it, very fond of you going to other places and training with other people. And so I see that in the comedy scene here in Austin as well, and it's something that Joe Rogan's been preaching for a long time. He said it wasn't always like that.
It wasn't.
It was very cutthroat. People are very mean to each other and very rude to each other, or they'll try to mess up a joke or steal a joke. And so it's awesome to see that there's a lot of those communities here in Austin. And if you live here and you're not a part of something or doing something, or if you don't have any friends, it's really only your fault.
Totally, yeah.
There's so much you can join. There's 1,000 run clubs. There's thousands of jiu-jitsu places, the comedy hub, the jiu-jitsu hub, the fitness hub. Like this is everything.
Yeah.
And so
there's lots of parallels for sure. When I go out of town, I meet other comics and I say, what's the scene like in Austin? I can't wait to come down. And I'll tell them it's not competitive like other markets. My friend who's in LA and she's a headliner, she can't go to Flappers because she goes to the Comedy Store. Yep. Like if she sets foot in some other club, they'll know, and her show will be immediately cut out. Because of Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe, like you said, you can go to Mothership and watch all the shows, or do Kill Tony, and then, or even the big guys that come through Mothership, they can go to Sunset Strip because Red Band owns part of that, and then Creek in the Cave. They're friends with the owners there, Rebecca, and I've heard Joe Rogan talk so wonderfully about Creek in the Cave and Cap City and Vulcan. All of the Vulcan, Velveeta, and all of the clubs. So we don't have that. You can only work at one place here. Yeah. Like, even in Dallas, I have friends who are up there that are like, oh, I don't know if I can go over there because I work over here sometimes. Well, that stinks for you because and
that's not how you do it. It's
how do you grow?
It is proven time and time again. If you want the most diverse group or the diverse crew or the most diverse cast, you just simply take the best people. Kill Tony is a perfect example. Like I talk about it all the time, because when he made the Puerto Rico joke on the political rally, everyone came at him, calling him all sorts of names, and it's just like, it's very clear that you don't understand who he is. You've never watched his show. He has made everybody under the sun, all races, all religions, disabilities, everything. He has made a ton of people famous of all types. Like, how can you say that? And it's the same thing for Joe Rogan when people hate on him and everything about that. And it's just like, are you not paying attention? Like, do you just not want to pay attention? Do you just choose not to? Like, what? Why are you so angry?
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's like, look, I mean, Dedrick Flynn, a couple weeks ago, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw him.
His initial set, he murdered.
Yeah,
he great. Murdered. And it's just like, dude, he's signed up 39 weeks in a row.
Oh, dang, I didn't know that. I didn't see that part.
He signed up 39 weeks in a row. And the night he got pulled, he was gonna skip and go hang out with his buddies and go drinking.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, nope, I have to go. This is what I've been doing every single Monday. I'm going to keep going until I get drawn.
Wow.
And he gets drawn on the 39th time, gets up there, absolutely murders, and then immediately becomes a regular.
Love it. Yeah. I remember getting teary-eyed watching that when he got the regular, because he was like, I think Tony said, I got a job for you or something. He was like, I'll take it. Whatever he said. And I was like, good for him. Like, you're just so proud of these people that get that moment there, especially. And when people are like, you were on Kill Tony, like, what is that like? I'm like, it was amazing. They were so engaging. And the second time, Tony was even more engaging. Like, he was just really, he said something to me like, they say this is a young person's game, but I love seeing people in every shape and size and color and this, at whatever age. And he's like, you're really funny. And I said, well, I just wanted to thank you because my life changed the first time I did this show. He gave me this incredible confidence. I got a social media boost. I got people reaching out to me, wanting to book me. And when I said that, I said, I just want to thank you for, that changed my life. And he said, well, your life's about to change again, Donna Lee. You're really funny. And I was like, oh, he's so nice.
Yeah. You're funny.
Yeah,
you came on there and like to your point, right? You said, I want to be a clean comedian. I don't want anything out there that it's somewhat gonna, it could affect my son or my husband. And then you get up there and they're talking about your boobs.
Yeah.
And you could have very easily shut down, right? And
I shut down.
Well, you know,
on the inside, I was like, oh.
right. But you rolled, you flowed through it. You rolled with it, and you see people all the time. They get up there, and then they act like they've never seen the fucking interview before. They start getting roasted, and they just get so rugged, or they start trying to clap back.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you not seen the show before?
Right.
Like, this is just how it goes. And the people who either become a regular or they get a golden ticket or they get a big joke book are the people who laugh and they go along with the jokes. If he says something and it's funny, you roll with it. You add a tagline to it. You keep the joke going.
If you get offended, it just gives him the motivation to roast you immediately.
Yeah.
And
he goes harder.
Yeah, and he goes harder. And then I know you've seen him ask the audience when he says, okay, clap if you like to see people do well, and clap if you like to see people bomb. They always clap louder because they want to see people bomb. Yeah. And that surprises me because I'm the person that wants to see people do well.
Yeah, me too. When you say, you get teary-eyed there in those, I mean, there's been plenty of episodes where I've just started just like crying. I'm like, dude, this is beautiful. Because again, you're sitting right here and you're like, I'm living my dream. And it's not only because of that, but a lot of people's lives have changed in a very positive manner with that show. And you see it happen live, whether it was Dedrick or we went back and watched Martin Phillips, his very first time. And you see him just stumbling on stage. And he goes up there in DC and he does his set. And Tony's like, holy shit, dude, that was really, really good. We're actually doing another show tomorrow night. Can you come back?
Wow.
And he's like, fuck yeah. And so he comes back again. And then the next night they just bring him up. And then he gets his regular right there. Or he gets his golden ticket and then becomes a regular. But it's just like, it's so cool to see all of it. Because, I mean, it's Aaron Belial. I mean, dude, the guy can't even talk. And it's like, what is y'all's excuse? Like, what is your excuse? What is your excuse?
Right.
He has one working hand. He uses that hand to type his jokes.
Yeah.
And then puts, huh?
That's not Martin Phillips.
No, I said Aaron Belial.
Oh.
He puts the mic in front of the speaker, types all his jokes. He's only got one hand and he can't talk.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, then go do it. Just do it.
They're so fair there. I think, it's like the blood in the water for sure. Like you said, if you just go against it or try to be a little smart ass to the king of roasting, that's a great idea. You're never going to win that battle.
And he hates it too.
Yes.
He hates it too.
I can tell he was kind of irritated with me on the second interview because he was like, I purposely wore something very baggy. I wore like a Louis Vuitton belt, so I was a little bit bougie, but I kind of hit it. But he was kind of like, and I started laughing because I could feel it, and it wasn't what I wanted, how I wanted the interaction to go. And then when I watched it back, I was like, well, that was oddly awkward. But he said, "Let me guess, you live in Westlake," and I said, "Bee Cave." And he goes, "Let me guess, you drive a Mercedes SUV." I went, "Sedan." But I remember thinking, what is he doing right now? I was like, he's 100 times more rich than I would ever be. Are we having a rich off? Like, what's going on? And I was just laughing. I was like, okay, well. But then it went well. I mean, after that, it went fine. But he was kind of like trying to put me in like, I know you, house lady. You just, want to make people laugh. But that's why I was like very intent on telling him, no, this is my dream. Like, this is absolutely. And he was very cool about it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So you said you got, big social media following, like Bump when you were on.
Yeah, they call it the Tony Bump. I've been asked several times, did you get the Tony Bump? I'm like, does that mean social media? Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, I did. I mean, it's not huge, but I got thousands of followers after each episode.
Shoot. That's just for getting up there for 60 seconds plus the interview.
Right.
How does it, so famously, talking about watching old episodes. Mm-hmm. So Bill Burr was on an episode, and I thought Tony was going to kill him.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that yet.
It was like episode 170, way long ago.
When he was in Portland? Still?
No, when they were in Los Angeles. Yeah, when they were at the Comedy Store. And
episode 148.
148, yeah.
Wow, I have to check that out.
And they are feuding the entire time. Because Bill Burr is just sitting there like criticizing it the entire time. He refused.
Show.
Yeah, criticizing the show. He refused.
Oh.
He refused to like roast the comics. He was like, "No, we should be being nice." And he just was constant. He was just going through against the grain the entire show. And Tony was just like, "Dude, the fuck are you doing? Like, you've seen the show before. You know, like, what is going on?"
Right.
And Bill Burr just kept saying, "Oh, there's just no way. This will never work. You can't be funny in 60 seconds. This is a stupid format." And on the show.
Oh my gosh.
And it's one of those things, like I said, we're just going back and watching random old episodes, and you just see this guy sitting there who's very successful, a great comedian. Don't agree with a lot of his like political views, but he's a great comedian. And he's sitting there just almost like pretty much talking shit.
Wow.
And then now here we are 600 episodes later. And it's like, dude, you couldn't have been more wrong.
Right.
Because there is something about y'all crushing it in 60 seconds that A, is fucking cool. It's really impressive. And B, you can definitely do it.
It can be done. I'm a storyteller, so I've been watching a lot of them. You know, these younger comics, they'd be like boom, 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 and they're crushing it. It's awesome. But there were so many, you know, all the negative comments. I remember one negative comment about mine was, Red Band must have really liked you if they let you tell a story for 60 seconds and finally get to the punchline. And I was like, I'm a storyteller. Like I tell stories. I don't have a bunch of short 10-second jokes.
So how did that work for you then? So how did you alter your process in order to fit it into that 60 seconds?
The jokes I have are typically longer, so I really had to focus on specifically the second time I went on because I knew the joke I was going to do, and it was not something that I did a lot on stage, but I got it down to the 60 seconds, but it had this long pause before the punchline. And the joke is really long, and I talk really fast. It's about my mom saying, "Why are you alone?" And I thought she meant, "Why are you alone in life?" But I was trying to tell her, you know, I'm going to Houston, and it was just it's one of my favorite jokes now. But I go on and on, I talk really fast, and I say the whole thing, and the audience is like, gosh. And so normally at most shows, especially if I'm doing a Moms and Hen show, the audience goes, you know, like, wow. And I hear somebody in the back going, boo. You know, it's just because it's a lot of words that I've memorized. And then there's a long pause, and then I say the punchline, and everybody starts. And I didn't know what was going to happen at Comedy Mothership. I thought, oh, this is going to go bad. It's going to go great.
One or the other.
One is going to, there's not going to be any middle man here. It's going to be this or that. And thank God it went really well. But that process, I remember thinking I really got to tighten that up because it was more of a 90-second joke.
Yeah, okay.
And I had to talk a little faster. I had to get to it faster. And my husband's always giving me crap about that. I don't get to things fast enough. Because I just want to stand on stage and tell you all my little flowery stories about it because they're my feelings.
So how do you do it? I've heard people driving and they think of something, they jot it down on their phone. Like, what is your process for coming up with new jokes?
Yeah, all of the above. I know that some of my favorite jokes that I do now, I remember writing, a lot of them I wrote back in the day, and I've just fine-tuned them and changed them and tightened them. But one of my favorite jokes that I still do, I wrote it at a red light in the Arboretum in front of the macaroni grill that's no longer there.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
So I was sitting at a red light, and there was a story about my mom and being in HEB, and people yell at her, and I'm like, why do people talk louder to people that don't speak English? And then I started writing it furiously, and then I came up with this whole joke that I call my HEB joke. And, this lady is trying to yell at my little Asian mom. She starts screaming the total at the cashier station. She's like, your total is $25.15. I'm like, why is this woman screaming?
I remember you telling this joke.
Yes. And I'm like, what? Look, and I had already set up that my mom is a tiny brown person who fights with me, and she has really broken English. And then I looked at the lady. I'm like, she's not a deaf Mexican. But I remember writing, she's not a deaf Mexican at the red light, and thought, that's funny to me.
It is funny.
I don't know. Yeah, and I still tell that joke, and people laugh, and they love it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I audio text a lot. I have, like every comedian on my phone, I have a folder called jokes, and it goes on. You can scroll it for days. It's just, everything I've audio texted into my phone. And getting that to paper is where my ADHD doesn't agree with me. But I do have lots of files where I'm typing them out and trying to, make sure I have every word written out instead of just me sounding off an idea in my phone.
And when you get that idea and you're tightening it into a joke, are you writing it out in joke form, or are you writing it down conceptually or in a summary, and then you're just trying it out on stage.
Yeah, conceptually, I'm writing the whole thing out like a story in a book. And then I realize I can't say all those words on stage or I'll get booed off. So I have to take and shorten it down and cut out all the words and get to to the point.
Yeah.
But that's really tough for me because I just want to tell stories and stand on stage and just have a one-woman act.
So how do you balance that out? Because you obviously have to do, you have to do something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Or you have to do it in a way that you enjoy, but then you also have to do it in a way that the audience can relate to. So.
Yeah, it took a lot of work. And me meeting my friend, who's now one of my best friends, Megan King, who's a headliner. She and I co-headline a show called Not Our First Rodeo. And she's a big headliner, and I headline my own things too. But she's also a comedy coach instructor, and she teaches levels 1, 2, and 3. And I was struggling because we do Moms on Hinge shows together, and they're sold out 200 to 800 seat venues. And we got to know each other. Now we have this show together. So I'll ask her questions and she'll say, look, you don't have to take my advice, but, and then it took me too long in the beginning because I thought, I know I have funny jokes and I put them all at the end so I can have the big bang at the end. She said, you have to stop doing what you're doing. And your very first joke should be your second funniest joke. And then you build your show through all that. And your last joke is your funniest joke. So I did that. I rearranged my entire set all over again, and I took my second funniest joke and I moved it to the top after I do some topical stuff. Like today, I was going to joke about how the first news story is that we now control what country
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
The second news story was Trump said we are locked and loaded for Iran. Yeah. And the third most important news story I saw that came right after that is that Korean pop group BTS is getting back together. And I was like, that was 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And I was like, okay, wait, what? So then I would tell something topical like that and then tell my second funniest joke, which was a lot for me because I have a whole storyline where I start, when I'm younger and I decide I want to be a comedian, but then I have a child and then I go through a marriage and I get divorced. And then so these are the stories that I'm telling. Now there's the stories about after I got divorced and leading into more mom stories because my mom's just hilarious, and then talking about my new husband and then going through my whole life. And that second funniest joke is always at the end. So then I had to rewrite everything all over again and move it up to the top.
Interesting.
It's done really well, obviously. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take you to kind of reformat that and really iron it out?
I was on a fast track. I had a show that, a few days later. Okay, and I was holed up at home and just
boom.
And then what I do is because I'm visual, I'm giving all my secrets away, but my ADHD is serious. Like I have not been diagnosed, but I have a horrible time. I have every boss I've ever had I've worked for doctors my whole life. Every one of them's like, you should really go get this diagnosed. Yeah. You have problems. You cannot focus on one thing ever. But I have a big giant board that I get from Michael's, and I have sticky notes. Yep. And I write each joke on a sticky note, and everything's color coordinated, and I put them in order, and this is how I see it on stage. And if I don't do that, I'm just a hot mess. I won't remember. I'm just going to tell random jokes that don't make any sense, that don't have a timeline. But that saved me this round in comedy. I didn't do that the first time. I think I just wrote things out and hoped that and just like every comedian, you just have a piece of paper and you write out every joke just in this form. But now I have like time ranges. Like this is the stories about me being younger. This is the stories about me being married. This is the stories about me going through the divorce. Like I have it in my head. And then when I'm on stage, I can visually see what's going on. I
can largely relate to that because she'll tell you that in the mornings, I can't just make breakfast and then make coffee and then do this. No. I'm making breakfast, coffee, checking, editing a video all at the same time. Like there is no, okay, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to sit down and only do that. And then, okay, now I'm going to do that. And so when you're on, I guess if I feel like with that, I would be on stage and I'd be trying to stick to my act, but I feel like I would get distracted by somebody and immediately want to do like some sort of crowd work. How do you have that issue, or is that like an urge for you where you see something and you're like, fuck? Yeah. Does it derail you or get you off topic?
Yeah, I have shiny thing syndrome for sure. I have like somebody, I was in Tyler and I had a big headlining set. It was the first time I was going to headline 45 minutes coming back to comedy by myself. And that was like 150 seater, and I sold 122 tickets on a Thursday, and nobody knew who I was. Like I was in the best mood. And I also have huge imposter syndrome. I literally went up on stage and I'd marketed the crap out of that show. All the Facebook marketing, I called a local newspaper, got interviewed. Like I did everything I could do to get a presence there. And when I got there, I was like, who are all these people here to see? Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. And the other comics were like, you idiot. And I was like, no, seriously, I'm not famous. Like I don't understand. Do they think, are one of y'all famous? Like I'm trying to figure out, is the opener famous? What's going on? And then I get on stage and I said, this is so embarrassing, but it's true. I go, who are you all here to see? They all go, you. And I went, really? And the owner was there and he was like, that was really impressive. You sold 122 tickets and nobody knows who you are. And I was like, I still don't know how that happened. But yeah, that night I had my first table of really drunk ladies that were they were my best friends afterwards. They were literally there to see me because they'd been following me and they saw all my marketing and the interview and everything, but they wouldn't shut up and they got super drunk. And I don't have good crowd work yet. Like I try, but I remember just going, hey, this is for you. It was so bad, but I caught it on video and I made a bit out of it because I was like, this joke is literally for you. And I just kept honing it. And it wasn't the most professional way of handling things, but it made me laugh because then they finally shut up. And then afterwards they came up, they're like, we're sorry. We were just drunk and we just had so much fun. And they were all taking pictures and stuff. And it was just really cute. And I was like, shut up.
Crowd work is a skill of its own.
It is a skill that I'm not. My comedy friends say, oh, you're so comfortable talking to the crowd. And I don't know if I'm comfortable, but I enjoy it. Like, I think it's fun. And then you're just going to, if somebody's making it real obvious to pick on them, I'll have to do that. And I always think it's weird that you pay more to sit in the front. I'm sure this is going to shift over time. Can we pay more to sit in the back? Because surely you're going to get picked on in the front. Like, I wouldn't want to be that person. I went to Brad Garrett. Some people want it, but most people don't. And they're like, and it makes me laugh because they're like, oh, you're not going to pick on it. If they come in, especially if there's not a VIP section, they're like, they're not going to put us in the front and pick on us, right? I'm like, yeah.
The human ego is a weird thing.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot. Like, if you do either psychedelics or combat sports, your ego is gone. It's obliterated. It just doesn't exist anymore. And that, if we could do that on a wide scale to most people in the world, we would be a completely different species and a completely different place. A lot of things are just so ego driven.
Yeah.
People's hater side, they're just X, Y, and Z. Like so many things that are just tied to your ego. And if you can dissolve your ego, you'll get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm. True.
And there's just so much we could do if we could dissolve that. And
that and fear. If you weren't,
that would be the other one.
Scared of change, or
yeah,
totally.
So how did you combat that? Knowing you're about to go on Kill Tony, is it because you were only somewhat familiar, so maybe you didn't fully grasp the scale of what was about to happen, or did you walk me through that process? Yeah,
the first time I hadn't seen it enough to really understand. Like the very first time I hadn't even watched it yet. And then because I tried out for it and was, at the Cedar Park Center, then I was like, I should probably watch this and see what's going on. And then I thought, oh, that looks terrifying. Why would anybody do that?
You were better off just not watching.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my heavens. But then I thought 60 seconds, well, I've got 60 seconds. Surely I can do that. And then my friend Kimberly Kester, she was on Moms Unhinged with me. She went on 2 weeks before I did.
Okay.
And I was with her and I was driving her home because she lived near me. So on the way home, she lived in that area. So we got to experience that together, and she was just on cloud nine. She did really well, and she was on cloud nine. And we got into a Waymo together. And it was our first time in a Waymo, and we were cussing and laughing. We're like, oh my God, sorry. Oh wait, there's nobody here. It was just such a bizarre experience. But I remember living through her in that moment. I was like, oh my God, I want to feel this. Like, I want to go through that. So then when I signed up with her 2 weeks later, I got on, and then we got to talk about it all over again. But it's the most terrifying thing I've ever done, for sure. Like, I can have a headlining set and not have any nerves like I used to. And I'm so excited and can't wait to do it. Kill Tony was a whole different thing. I mean, just coming out in the band, and I knew Carlos Sosa. I don't know if you remember that part.
The guy on
the saxophone player.
Yep.
He and I met 20 years ago when I worked at a doctor's office.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he had a T-shirt on, random, that and had a saxophone on it. And I was like, oh, and I minored in jazz improv at Texas State University playing saxophone. So if somebody's wearing a saxophone, I'm going to start talking about your saxophone. So I was like, oh, hey, man, you play saxophone? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm Jason Mraz's saxophone player. And he's really Rico Suave kind of guy, very smooth. And I was like, oh, my God, that's so cool. I said, I played jazz improv all through college and played high school and junior high and all that stuff. And we talked about saxophone playing for a while. And then I see he's on Kill Tony, when I started watching, I was like, I know that guy. And then that night, the first night I got pulled, he was outside. Now, I've never seen any of the musicians out front of Comedy Mothership. So I'm talking to Ernest, and we're eating pizza and chit-chatting, and I see Carlos Sosa. I was like, oh my God, that's the saxophone player. And I went running up to him, and he's so cool and, you know, fun. And he's standing there. I was like, I know you. And he's like, hey, calm down, lady. And I told him how we knew each other.
He was like, I know you know me.
Yeah.
I'm on the biggest
Show in the
podcast.
world.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we met at a doctor's office, and you were an allergy patient at my allergy clinic. And then he kind of vaguely remembered, and I said the clinic, and he didn't remember me, but he remembered the clinic. So then when I came on stage, I was just grasping straws to think, what can I talk about if he asks me anything about anything? So that's when I spun around, and I was like, I know Carlos Sosa. And then they were giving him grief about it because they were like, oh, do you? And I said, yeah, I met him at a medical clinic. Well, of course, that led to, oh, really, Carlos? What were you doing at a medical clinic? And he was just like, oh, no. And just shaking his
He's like, damn it.
Yeah, and it just got worse and worse. And then finally, and then when I said he said he was with Jason Mraz, and Tony was brilliant. He was like, oh, hey, I performed with Jason Mraz. Like, that was so cool. And it was just the funniest interaction. I don't remember the question, but I love the story. But he was so cool. So when he saw me come out, he's like, hey, like, you know, we just talked up there.
He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and then when I came out the second time on my second episode, 7:22 was the first one, 7:38 was the second one. He and I looked at each other, and he's like, oh, you're back on again. So, and then I just posted something about playing saxophone. I got my saxophone out, and I hadn't had it out in, I counted 31 years.
Aww.
I got it out of the closet, and I started piddling around with it. I remembered a bunch of stuff that I didn't think I remembered, and then I was listening to the news, and the riff on ABC News, I played it was like da 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 da, 4 notes, but I knocked it out, and I posted it, and I sent it to Carlos, and he was like, F yeah. I said, in case you missed this magic, I can play 4 notes.
That's
So,
awesome.
it was
That's
cool.
awesome. Taylor plays the violin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That sounds hard. Sounds harder.
She's impressively pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah, she needs to make a theme song for the podcast,
You
but
should.
she won't do it.
Oh, I'll write you a saxophone theme song.
There we go. See,
We'll-
saxophone and a violin at the same time.
We'll riff.
It's a different vibe than violin. I don't think you want a violin vibe for your theme song.
I think that would be brilliant to have those 2 different genres of instruments banding together to make What's Up, Brodey podcast music.
Because you're thinking. That's your first issue.
Yeah.
Think.
We'll just make it happen. It'll be super quirky and weird, and we'll make it happen.
We should. That'd
What
be
was
awesome.
the question? I don't know.
What was the question?
I don't remember the question when I went on this rant about Carlos Sosa.
It was, how did you combat fear for Kill Tony?
Oh.
But
Oh,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
320. Just
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, we're good.
Um,
I could lie and say I drank a lot, but I don't, because you can't drink. I've seen the comics who go up there bombing
Dude.
because
There
they're
was one last
drunk. Yeah, was it the
she
lady?
was-
oh, yeah. She was hammered.
Oh, I would never forgive myself if I went on super drunk and couldn't speak.
They breathalyzed her.
Yeah, I
She
saw-
was 0.1.
She was
A 0.18.
something.
A 0.18. Yeah, I mean, she was blasted.
It's such a big opportunity. I met a guy at the first Kill Tony I tried out for at the Cedar Park place, and he told me he'd been on, and he was just a hot mess of a man. Just bless his heart. He was super drunk already, and we were just standing in line. Like, it was bad. And he goes, yeah, the first time I was so hammered, I don't remember a minute, a second of what happened. And I was like, oh my God, don't you just so regret that?
Yeah, like, why?
Just was like, oh, it was cool, it was really funny. I was like, this is where I get frustrated. I'm like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for a lot of people. And then that night at Kill Tony, this woman is walking up and down the line saying, if you've never done comedy, don't sign up. If this is your first time, don't sign up. Well, 5 of the 7 comedians pulled that night had never done it before. I was so mad.
Yeah.
It wasn't my time yet. I'm glad I didn't get pulled looking back because I wasn't ready. Like, you always think you're ready. But moving
interesting.
forward many, many, many months, and me getting more gigs and me practicing and me in my car whittling down jokes to 60 seconds, then I was ready. Even though the first time wasn't great, but I was ready for what happened. I wouldn't have been ready that first time I tried out.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to your point, it's gotten to the point where Tony just has started banning people. He's just like, you're not coming back. Like, don't sign up for another year, or
wow.
just don't sign up ever again.
Yeah.
Because it to your point, like, Dedrick, had been doing comedy for 12 years. He had signed up for 39 weeks in a row. And then to see people like that constantly getting drawn, and they don't even care to really do it as a profession, or they've never even done it, or they have no act.
Right.
And I mean, for him to just continue to sign up, it's a beautiful thing.
That's grit. Yeah. Good for him. And that's why he got exactly what he deserved.
Yeah.
A regular.
Yeah. I mean, almost a year straight of signing up.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a commitment, though. Like, my husband's never thrilled. I'm like, I'm going to go sign up for Kill Tony because he likes me to be around, make dinner and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, great.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I'd be like, Donna, go.
Do it.
Because
All the time. He needs to keep.
Andrew signed up like 3 weeks ago. He didn't get drawn. But I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, you got to keep going. Because, and now to your point, it's a fair point. Maybe I should stop telling him and he'll know when to go. But from my perspective, even if for some reason he bombed the 60 seconds, he would be so good in the interview because he would just laugh. He would go along with anything. Yeah. He would laugh about all of it. He talks about deporting his dad, like any angle that Tony would go to start making fun of him, whether it's ICE, being Mexican, whatever. Andrew would be just ready.
Yeah.
And I think that
he's so likable.
Yeah.
Tony would love him. I think.
And I think if it doesn't matter how the 60 seconds goes, he would crush the interview.
Yeah.
And it would just be awesome.
I agree. Yeah. Let's all band together and make him go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He did go and he sent me a picture. He did go once, but he didn't get drawn. I don't know if he's been back since.
It's fascinating me too. We see so many. I truly do believe it's a random pull.
Yeah.
Like some people, like it's not random because some people get pulled 3 or 4 times. I just think it's random. Like there's one person who was pulled. She was on the screen. So you're watching 2 weeks later when you're one of the comedians in Shakespeare on the big screen. But the way they do it is so clever because they pause it and then they call somebody's name. So you feel like you're on that show that you're watching, but it's the one that's 2 weeks ago. I'm watching, and this particular comedian, I forgot her name, but she's on. We're watching her on the show 2 weeks ago, and then they pause it and they call her name. So she's on again. And then it was just so like, what? What's happening? So then she got pulled back. So then she was on again 2 weeks after that. But she'd been pulled like 5 times or something. And I was like,
yeah, some people get really lucky. They get up there all the time.
Yeah.
And then there are times where he purposely digs in the bucket for a specific person. There's been a few episodes where he's like, all right, we haven't had a woman yet. And he'll dig specifically for a woman.
Yeah.
And so, little things like that. But outside of that, and outside of him giving a few spots to certain friends, it seems pretty random from a viewership. We were telling Andrew, we're going to tell the secret now. Dang, we're going to spoil it. But we were telling Andrew, we're like, all right, because there's a specific seat where he has them draw the very first name. And we're like, all right, we're going to come in with a slip with Andrew's name in our sleeve. And then he's gonna reach the bucket. We're gonna get to Kill Tony super early. We're gonna get those front row seats, and he's gonna be like, all right, Jordan, choose from the bucket, and I'm gonna slip out Andrew's name from my sleeve,
that's so
and then
funny. Do a magic trick. I love it.
Handed it to him.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's funny.
And so because he always chooses the same table to choose the first name.
Oh, okay.
Because he'll always roast the person and then have them pick the name.
Okay.
And so, at least he's done it the last, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 weeks. So he's been, it's maybe a newer thing, but he's been doing it lately.
Huh, I love that. So the first time I did the secret show, this is a great story too. I was in the green room at Sunset Strip, and Red Band was sitting in his Red Band chair. He's got a really cool chair that has like these pigs at the bottom, like gold pigs. And it's his chair, like he's sitting in the chair. And I'm scared to death because I'm the only woman and I'm the only one over 40. I'm in my 50s and all these guys are 25 to 30, except for Red Band. He's almost my age.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there quiet and I don't know what to say to anybody. And everybody's, they all know each other and there's lots of pot smoking going on. And I don't do that. And I was just like, oh, this is terrifying. And so then one by one, somebody would say something or I'd introduce myself and we'd start talking. Red Band was great. And he was like, those videos you have on your social media, you getting scared, are those real? I'm like, yeah, my husband scares me every single day of my life. And I just put them all together and that's my most watched stuff is me getting scared. Over any jokes that I have, it's me getting scared with no makeup on. Love it. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the green room and I'm like, I'm going to get a second contact high. Crap, because I don't do this very well. Yep. And he put me on the first time. I was second after Ali Musa, who's hilarious. I love him. And but I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I did the green room thing and I didn't want to be that person to take pictures. So I didn't take any pictures. I wasn't going to be that person. And I went to the audience after there's 17 comedians And they all get 8
wow.
to 13 minutes each.
Okay.
So 11:45 rolls around, and I wake up typically at 4 a.m. So about halfway through, I go sit in the back with my husband. And he goes, hey, your boy just walked by. I go, who's my boy? And he goes, Tony Hinchcliffe. I was like, gotta go. So I jumped up and I ran back to the and I sat down in a bench chair and I had my phone and I was just kind of watching. And Tony was so lovely with everybody and they're all hugging him and they're all friends, even the comedians that are, newer and younger. And I just kind of sat there and he turned around to me and I thought, well, I'm not going to be that person. And go, Tony, remember me? So I just sat quietly and he turned around and he goes, hey, it's nice to see you again. And he shook my hand and he goes, well, I guess you're in the mix now. And I was like, oh, how nice is that? And at that moment, I was like, oh, I kicked myself for not taking a picture. But then I got the second show invitation, and I was like, F this proud crap. I'm taking pictures. So I went up to Ray Brown. I was like, we're taking a picture. And he was like, all right. It's a good selfie. But it was so much fun. He put me on that show right after Timmy No Breaks.
Dude.
Timmy No Breaks is so goddamn funny.
He is so funny. And he's lovely as a human. I've met him so many times at different shows. He's so sweet. He's so soft-spoken. And he remembers me. Donna, it's so good to see you. Soft-spoken. Yes. Totally sweet. Doesn't sound like that at all.
That is definitely.
Oh, maybe not say that. I mean, he's Timmy No Breaks. Upstage and backstage. He's just super lovely and so nice. And we've done a few shows together. And he remembered me each time and gave me a hug. And it's just really fun. But he put me on right after him. But I thought Tony was going to, not Tony, Timmy was going to be like, all right, for this next guest. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm sitting on a little step going, oh, he's going to make so much fun of me because I'm an older lady and I'm the only one on the show. And he was so nice. And he goes, if you guys don't clap for this person, I'm going to kick your ass. Everyone, if you guys don't get so loud for this next comedian. And he was just so sweet and getting everybody built up. And it was just really nice because he didn't have to do that. Yeah. He could have just been Timmy No Breaks and just said, this is our next bitch.
Dude, his Kill Timmy.
Oh, that was so
Kill
good.
Timmy. Fucking cheap. God,
that was good.
Man.
That was
genius.
Fun.
And then this last one where he put the black dude on stage. Holy so shit.
Who is that guy? I don't know who he is.
I don't know if anybody did.
Oh. 10 minutes before in the skit, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, I don't doubt that. That's funny.
I don't know if anybody knew that guy. I think he just got a random dude. And
gosh.
Dude, fucking hell, man.
It was so funny.
The fact that he came out the second time and botched the joke, though, was fucking hilarious, dude. That was so funny because you can tell. I don't think that was on purpose. If it was, that was good. That was a great acting job because
he's so good. Yeah,
I mean, he's.
I did a show with him at Creek in the Cave after the second time I did the secret show with him, and the person producing the show said, "Dress up. It's Halloween, so wear a costume." Well, nobody wore a costume but me and her. She was dressed up as something, and I came as a banana. I have a giant banana costume. I have 3, honestly. I don't know why, but I wore my banana costume downtown. My husband was like cracking up. He loves that I do dumb stuff like that, but I'm wearing my banana and all you can see is this. And I'm walking in my arms, and it's 7 feet tall. So I get there, and technically, I guess Timmy No Breaks is in a costume. Well, all the other comedians were going, oh, we didn't know we were supposed to wear a costume. I was like, she sent it in the message in Instagram, on our group message to wear a costume. Yeah, but I took my husband took all these pictures of me sitting in the dark by myself. I was like, it's lonely to be a comedian. But Timmy knew he was great. He was so funny. But I met him in the costume, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. He's like, hey, it's good to see you. It was so funny because I was like, I'm standing in a banana costume next to Timmy No Breaks at Creek in the Cave. This literally is the funniest part of my life.
That's incredible. How did you get into your other podcasts? Because you say you produced 2.
Yeah.
And so you have one where you talk to doctors. How did you, what made you want to do that?
I run the Armor Men's Health Show. We have 766 episodes. And I started it with my urologist surgeon partner. So I used to be his practice manager for 6 years. And he was like, we should do a radio show together. So we were on KLBJ in Central Texas for 6.5 years. And we just stopped doing KLBJ in October, but we've been running the podcast the whole time. So it's a radio show first, and then we just turned that into a podcast.
Oh, okay.
But we don't do the radio part, but I still run the podcast. And he's got some personal health stuff, like with his voice got weird. So he's like, I don't really want to do this anymore, but keep it going with our partners. So now I interview our partners. Like we have all these urologists and men's health experts. And in urology, we see the craziest stuff, as you can imagine. People come in and they put weird things in their penises, and it's
Excuse
crazy.
Me?
Yeah, it's a crazy,
Do tell.
crazy time.
What's a crazy one? Since
Craziest
we know you
one.
got to go, so what you got to leave us on a crazy
note.
penis story.
First of all, men, get your prostates checked. Check your testosterone. And how we gauge, just on a quick rant, a lot of primary care doctors don't like to do hormones. So when the urologist comes around, they're like, yes, please take my testosterone patients. I don't want these. It's too intricate. We look, when you get your lab results, it says the range is 200 to 500. That's normal. We gauge men on how they feel, if their testosterone's low, if their testosterone's high. We may look at a man and go, his normal range should be 500. Well, no, he should probably be at 800. He's going to feel really incredible. He's 45 years old. He's losing his libido. He's fatigued. He's brain foggy. All of that stuff can be fixed. Yeah. But most patients, don't know what to do. Or they're like, well, I'm in the range. My primary care doctor said I'm fine.
I mean, most GPs will not prescribe testosterone.
I don't blame them. They have to know so much about so many things. Well, urology focuses on men's health. And so if you're a man out there listening, please get it checked. If you feel tired or you can't remember where you parked your car outside of HEB, or you can't remember your wife's birthday, or your libido feels weird and not usual, go see a urologist. I'm with Urology Specialists of Austin, but I'm just handling the podcast. But we talk about, your range should be what feels good for you. And by the way, you can't really OD on testosterone. You shouldn't be a prick and be on, 2,000. Quick funny story. When I worked at my previous medical office, this man was screaming at the staff, and he was just raging. And they were like, you need to go in and fix it. I was a manager. You have to go talk to this man. He's really upset about his bill or whatever. And I went in there, and he was massive. He was like a big bodybuilder, 6'4". He was massive, and he's in my face. And I thought, this is the first time I'm going to be punched out by a patient.
Oh, no.
He was screaming and yelling. And then one of the employees, when I came out, said, yeah, his testosterone's 2,000. And I was like, oh, I know. Okay, can you imagine? He must be such a jerk. And I looked at his labs, and it was 2,000. I've never seen anybody with a range that high, because typically it's 500 to 800 for men.
Yeah.
2,000. I was like, no wonder he was so upset. It was
Dude,
just
that's a crazy number.
Crazy. I've never seen anything like that. I never saw it again. And he owned a gym, and he was just screaming at me. And everything he said didn't make sense. And I remember thinking, poor you. Must have a small penis too. So I just let it go. But moving forward, get to your urologist or your men's health expert. There's also men's health practices around Austin that are really good. But men will stick things in their penis. There's a pleasure zone in the urethra for a lot of men. Now, a lot of men don't have that. But we've had men...
How do you find out if you do or you don't?
Experimentation. Yeah.
Jesus, why?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of like anal.
It's a kink.
Huh?
It's a kink.
Urethra sounding.
Yeah. Oh, how does your wife know all of this stuff?
That's what I was fucking freak. Dude, what? Wait. Yeah. Okay.
So they'll stick things up there, like down, up, but into the urethra, and sometimes it feels really, really good. They sell things. I learned this working in urology, that you can go to a sex shop store and they'll sell specific things. So that it'll be a long cylindrical thing like a straw but thinner, and there's a ring at the end so it can't get lost in the urethra. For those of you who don't know, up the penis. So we've had patients put things up there, and then it gets lost and travels through their body, and then we'll find the foreign object like in their bladder years later or something crazy. So
what the fuck? What?
Don't do that. So we've trained all of our teenagers when they were teenagers, don't put things in your peepees. And they're like, okie dokie.
Whoa. That's never had been told to me.
I mean, you've heard the stories of men sticking things in their anal cavity, and that gets stuck. And then they see the x-rays, and they're like, I landed on that. Like, I fell on that broomstick. Yeah.
I fell on that broomstick.
Yeah.
I fell on the 7-foot broomstick. I fell on it.
Right.
It just perfectly went up my ass.
Yeah, for a week. I have a great podcast that I did with my two doctors where the guy puts, instead of a penis ring, or cock ring is what it's technically called, it's his platinum wedding ring. Now, granted, he had big fat fingers, but he put it around his penis at the base so his penis would be harder. But they literally sell things that you can unlatch it on the side. So it doesn't. It's an actual thing that you can buy, and then you can let it release and take it off. Well, this guy put his wedding band around his penis. So 3 days goes by.
Poor guy.
And he's about 2 seconds from losing his penis. And it is just big, bright, and purple. And so I did a whole podcast about this, and it's one of the funniest ones we have. My two urologists that were on call, they live up north, and the guy's down south at the hospital at the ER, and he's about to lose the penis. And so the two doctors are friends, and they're like, we should go down there and save his penis together. So they get in one of them has a Lamborghini. So he gets on the HOV fast lane. He runs out of gas halfway down south, speeding down the lane, right? And so then the police car shows up and is like, are you okay? He's like, I ran out of gas, but this is more important. There's a man who's about to lose his penis in South Austin. So the other doctor who wasn't driving, the policeman said, hop in the car, I'll take you. And he hit the lights, and they're like, woo, woo, woo. And they sped the urologist all the way downtown. And then
Got a penis worth saving.
yes. So then the guy who ran out of gas, that doctor, he called the other partner who lives up north. She brought him gas. And so he got in his car, so he gets down. So then the man, he's trying to be clever with his wife. So 3 days has gone by. It's bright and red. He's lost blood flow. It's going. It's going to be gone. And they were like, well, we don't know how to get it off. Like, it's a platinum ring that has no way of breaking off. At that moment, an orthopedic surgeon walked by, and they were like, hey, man, you got any tools that can fix this? And he goes, yeah, I got a saw that they would normally saw for their procedures. Right? So then they take the little saw, and they go in, and they take off the little penis ring, and they save the man's penis.
Oh, my gosh.
Right.
What's funny is he has a ring fear.
Ring phobia. There's just no way.
Oh, because you're worried to get it caught on something and rip your finger off?
Yeah.
My
People lose their...
ex-husband did that.
Yeah.
He almost ripped it off. He severely injured his finger because he
what
got
I'm
it
saying.
caught on something and it almost ripped off.
Nope, not me. Right. People lose their finger doing jiu-jitsu with their ring on.
Oh.
They lose the whole finger.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no. I don't want any part of that. Plus, if it just like when it slides over the knuckle and it gets too tight, I'm like, fuck this, and I immediately take it off.
Are you claustrophobic too?
Not really.
Just that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely don't know why. But I just refuse. I just don't want to. It's
fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a silica one, maybe. But if I can't like spin it,
just
that's
get him
too
a
tight.
fidget spinner.
Yeah, it's just too tight. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, it just, hell no, dude.
That makes sense. So before I let you go, if you ever visit our office, I have things that our surgeons have brought to me that they've removed from body parts, and I put them in shadow boxes in the frames.
Oh, this is incredible.
And I frame it in the doctor's offices. And so when they're
incredible.
they're working, they can look up and see the fruits of their labor.
That's incredible. Yeah, I go through waste well, and so they do my blood work. My testosterone came back low, so I'm on testosterone now, and yeah, it's fine.
I am too. Women should get on it too. I'm on testosterone.
That's what. Yeah.
So on my range, my PCP looked at my numbers. He was like, I don't understand. You're way off. Like, you're in 400. Like, you should be at 200 or less. And I said, well, and I explained that I work for a urologist. He's like, oh, I know that guy. He goes, okay, I'm not going to mess with that. But that's where I felt good. Like, I feel good in that higher range.
Yeah.
I get better sleep and memory's better. I'm more active.
How do you do it? Do you do an injection or?
Testosterone cypionate every other week. I just shoot myself in the belly a little bit. It's a tiny amount too for me, but it makes the difference.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, she won't do needles, so we're gonna have to find out.
Oh, there's creams. Oh my gosh, there's nasal cream now. There's the creams you can put on your forearm.
Dude, the creams, I've heard some crazy stories. People giving
transfers.
other people hugs.
Yeah, there's transfers, but especially with married people, like, you worry about that. So the doctors will talk to you about that. But there's so many options. There's like the clicking kind that just clicks the amount, like the Ozempic, where it's already pre-filled kind of thing. There's like 10 different ways of getting testosterone.
Like a puncher almost?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like an EpiPen.
Yeah, because obviously, having a kid and breastfeeding, her testosterone is just destroyed.
All my hormones are
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's at like 25.
Oh, wow. Well, I work for Urology Specialist of Austin. The person I would recommend you see, her name's Leonora Brown, and I give her a shout out. I've sent all of my female friends and family to her, and 100% of the time they're like, she's the best medical provider I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. But she specializes in women's hormones. So
Awesome.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Nobody cares about
No,
that.
I do. Shit, fuck them. I do. I'm obsessed with all this shit. We could spend another 2 hours talking about all this. Like, I absolutely love health and fitness. I love it all. Like, I love what Waste Well is doing. It sounds like y'all are also running a tight ship in that similar fashion, because again, I think, you put your tinfoil hat on, you see a reason why no one gets prescribed testosterone. But if you take that off and you think about it from, your perspective, when you're saying like, when you're saying, people, they probably don't understand, they're a little nervous. But I think that, I still think that that's largely the fault of the medical, like the education system, because we know that it's so important. And then for y'all, it's been demonized for forever. It's finally just now coming around where it's a little bit more mainstream. But TRT is just, there's Frank Carrillo was just on Men's Health talking openly about taking TRT and I think even a little bit of Anavar. And it's like on Men's Health, that's the first time that I'm aware that someone talked about it openly and Men's Health was promoting it.
Right.
You know, saying like, yeah, this is, and he's 60 something. He's jacked still.
Wow.
Looks great. Pull up a picture of Frank Carrillo. Let's end on that.
Good for him.
This motherfucker looks great. I mean, it's insane. But yeah, I mean,
we don't talk about it enough. But in my circle, it's all we talk about.
It's interesting.
And then when I reach out, people are like, "You're on what? You're on estrogen. That causes cancer." I'm like, no, that doesn't cause cancer.
That yes.
Are you talking about Frank the Tank?
No, Frank Carrillo, the actor. Is it Carrillo? Frank the actor.
Frank Carrillo is a UFC fighter. Frank the Tank.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. He's an actor. You'll find it.
I'm pulling up an American rock musician.
Nope. Just look up fuck, what was he in, dude? What
Frank
was he?
Fratella, maybe?
Nope.
Cirillo?
Just type maybe.
Cirillo.
Is it Cirillo? About to find out. Nope, that's not him. Type in
I need you to give me more information.
Dude, I need you to Google your fingers off. Frank.
Is that Joe Cirillo?
No, will you stop?
Mark Cirillo?
Oh, like Donna Lee comedian Banana.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find him.
That's fine. I have to find
Just type in Frank Men's Health actor. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Sorry, I'm typing one-handed.
She's got a baby. She's doing it.
Yeah, there he is.
Frank Grillo.
Well, same. Now let's find a picture.
Is he on Tulsa King?
Maybe.
He looks like
he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's on Tulsa
yeah.
King. He's the bad guy, and he's amazing. And he's jacked. You're right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they showed him
60.
Wow.
Look.
He's
Yeah, he's
honestly really hot.
He's a good-looking dude.
yeah, he is.
I mean,
60.
he's jacked at 60. Like
nuts.
This is him.
that's him at 54. But actually, he was okay. So what's crazy? No, what's crazy is he wasn't on hormone replacement yet. So he didn't actually start taking hormone replacement, if I'm not mistaken, until pretty recently, and that's why he was out talking about it, because he apparently what I was hearing from the story is that he was just he was just looking like that because that was just his lifestyle. Like he was like, I'm gonna work out, and he was just pushing through the fatigue. He just had incredible discipline.
Wow.
And so he stayed like that, and then now he's on TRT and looks even better, which is fucking crazy. And then RFK knocked out 20 pull-ups in the middle of the airport.
Right?
Bruh.
Wow.
What? You're 72?
Oh, is he 72?
72. Dang. Doing 20 pull-ups.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I can't even spell pull up.
I think there's a hyphen.
Is there?
Yeah,
I thought it was
think
just a
so.
space. Yeah,
I don't know, maybe. I think there's a hyphen.
Forwards and backwards.
Forwards and back. Oh, it is.
Oh.
Look at that. We'll end on that. Look at that.
Right.
Little tidbit. Pull up is forward and backwards. It's the same. It's like race car.
Never thought of that. Good job.
Boom.
Feeling smarter today. That's good.
Donna. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck on your show tonight.
Thank you.
Go ahead, shout out everything you got coming up, whatever you want, wherever people can find tickets.
Visit my website. It's always up to date because of my OCD. It's DonnaLeeComedy.com. And then find me on Instagram at Donna Lee Comedy, or YouTube at Donna Lee Comedy, or Facebook at Donna Lee Comedy. But yeah, Instagram and my website are the two spots where you can see me getting scared all the time by my husband. You can see all my wiener dogs. And my husband's like, you never post any bits. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a comedian. I should do that. I have bits there somewhere. So but thank you for having me. This is fun.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. You're killing it. Keep crushing it.
Thank you.
You're living the dream, like you said.
I am.
Don't ever forget it. Just keep going.
Love it. Every day I'm in tears. Happy tears.
Left foot in front of the right. Just keep going. One day after the next.
Love it.
You're doing awesome. Thanks so much. And we'll see y'all next time.
All right. Thank you.